No one wanted me in high school. No one wanted me up until college.
You think you can latch onto the first person that cares about you, and those boys didn't care about me.
That breaks my heart, because when you've experienced early abandonment, when you've been left, when you've felt unwanted, it can impact how you approach relationships. You can start focusing on, will they choose me? Or, I don't want to be alone anymore. Instead of asking, do I genuinely want this person? Sometimes it's about being chosen. Sometimes it's about wanting uncertainty to end, wanting relief, wanting stability, wanting to finally feel secure. Emma's story includes early abandonment at the age of 3, feeling unwanted in her high school years, and not feeling good enough. In this video, we will be looking at how those wounds may have influenced attachment, urgency, and how we choose partners. And I'm also going to show you something I promised from my last video about Emma and Stephen, and that is what an empathetic response actually looks like when someone shares something vulnerable with you. And I'm going to walk you through that response step by step so that you know exactly what to look for from another person when you share something vulnerable with them. Hi, I'm Dr. Pam, therapist and relationship counselor. I am so grateful that you're here, whether you've been with me for a while or this is your first time here. This space is about understanding ourselves and our relationships in a deeper way. And if that speaks to you, I'd love for you to join us. And just as a reminder, I know that this is reality TV. It is heavily edited. I am not diagnosing anyone. I am simply using what we are shown to explore patterns and emotional dynamics that may help you reflect on your own relationships. Okay, so Emma has shared that she was adopted at the age of 3 and that she was left at a train station.
I was left at a train station is what my parents told me.
That kind of early trauma doesn't just disappear because you've grown up. Even if you don't have clear memories or language for it, your body remembers. When you're abandoned that young, before you even have the ability to make sense of what happened, your body absorbs the experience. And experiences like that can shape how safe connection feels later in life. It can influence how you respond to closeness, how quickly you attach, how deeply you fear being left again, because your early experience for connection included loss. And when that's your starting point, being chosen can feel more than romantic. It can feel regulating. It can feel stabilizing. It can feel like proof that you are finally safe. The difficulty is this: when you don't fully understand your story, you can end up reacting from pain you don't consciously recognize.
I don't think anyone can understand until they know who I am. Sometimes you don't even understand it yourself.
If the original wound isn't clear, your reaction can feel confusing. The intensity feels real, but you may not know where it's coming from, as we just saw with Emma. You just know it hurts. Emma has shared that she never felt good enough. She has described being left by boys in high school that she thought cared about her. And every time that happens, it isn't just about a breakup in the present. It can reopen that abandonment wound. That's how abandonment wounds work. The current rejection touches the original wound. And our body responds not just to this person leaving, but to the deeper fear of being unwanted again.
From not feeling good enough, and like the people that I try with are the ones that leave.
Emma shared that in high school no one wanted her, and that she latched on to the first person who showed her attention, even when that attention wasn't consistent or genuine. That makes sense. When you've grown up feeling unwanted, even a small amount of care can feel significant. It can feel like relief, and sometimes that relief can blur whether the connection is actually healthy and mutual. What's really important, though, is that Emma also experienced love from the family who adopted and raised her.
I've been raised by a white family. They're the best examples of love.
So that matters. That gives her an experience for what steady, committed love looks like. It likely strengthened the part of her that makes her feel worthy and capable of connection. So she isn't only coming from a wound, she's carrying both. The part of her that knows love and the part of her that fears being left. And often in relationships, those two parts show up at the same time. In some ways, being loved by her adoptive family likely strengthened and healed part of her. She knows what steady love looks like. She knows what it feels like to be cared for consistently, and that gives her something solid to hold on to inside of her. It's why she was able to walk away from Stephen, as I showed you in my last video. But Emma also carries additional layers. She has physical scars from multiple surgeries that impacted how people saw her and responded to her. When someone already struggles with feeling unwanted or not good enough, having physical scars and being judged for that can reinforce that narrative that she's unwanted. And that is a lot for one person to carry. So she's not just carrying abandonment, she's carrying resilience, love, vulnerability, and insecurity all at the same time. And when that's your story, being chosen can feel incredibly powerful. It can feel like validation, reassurance, and proof that you are wanted. But being chosen and choosing wisely are not always the same thing. Now, love is blind moves quickly by design. You have to dive deep fast. That's how the experiment works. But even within that structure, there's a difference between opening up quickly and attaching quickly. Opening up builds connection, it creates intimacy. Attaching quickly can make it harder to hear your inner voice asking you, is this good for me? Do I feel steady here? Do I feel safe here? And with Emma, we've seen her strong attachments quickly with multiple people, which makes sense when you understand the layers that she's carrying. And none of this means that she can't deeply love someone. It simply means old wounds can get loud when connection feels possible.
There are people that make me laugh and make my heart flutter. I don't want to I don't want to jinx it. But there's a highly likely chance her future husband's here.
There's so much hope in that statement. You can feel how much she wants this to be true. And when you've carried a story of not being chosen, the possibility that your future husband might be here on Love is Blind doesn't just feel exciting, it feels redemptive. It feels like maybe this is the moment where everything finally changes. That kind of hope is beautiful, but it also can make attachment move faster when she might actually need clarity.
I can picture our life so vividly in the weirdest way. I could picture us in Mexico. I could picture us in our living room. I can see that.
So can I.
Coming from a place of not feeling good enough and having experienced being left can sometimes create urgency. Not manipulation, not desperation, but urgency. An urgency to secure connection before it disappears.
6 days. That's all it took for you to start getting visuals of sitting next to me on the couch.
And we might be engaged by the end of next week.
We just gotta talk about married life.
Let's talk about married life, baby boy. Mike is an amazing person, but I have a gut feeling that Connor will be the one at the end of this.
Again, we know this is edited, but what stands out to me is this. Mike has been emotionally mature. He's been steady. He's made it clear that she is his number one choice. Connor, on the other hand, had 2 strong connections, and yet her gut tells her she'll end up with Connor. That's interesting because sometimes when someone consistently chooses us, it can feel calm, it can feel secure, it can feel safe. But when someone is divided, like Connor, when there's uncertainty, it can feel intense, it can feel charged, it can feel like something you have to secure or hope for. And ultimately, Connor chose the other woman. And after that, Emma decided to explore things more deeply with Mike. What I'm really curious about here is what it feels like for her to be someone's clear first choice, which Mike shared with her versus being one of two options. Because being someone's only choice, like I said, it feels steady, it feels secure, it doesn't require proving yourself. Being one of two options can feel very different. It can feel uncertain, it can stir up comparison, it can activate the desire to be chosen. Those experiences land very different emotionally, especially if you've ever questioned your worth.
You were one that actually surprised me a little bit. I liked your vibe the first date, but it wasn't like, no, oh my God, this gonna sound so.
Just say it, be honest.
I was like, I want to get to know him, but it wasn't like, oh my gosh, like yes, like 100% yes, like.
Yeah.
But I was like, you're very nice. Like this guy is like so funny. He makes me feel like so comfortable. I think you are so attentive and it really makes me feel supported. I like that.
Aw, that was amazing.
I actually put it in ChatGPT.
Emma tells him that she wasn't into him at first. And what does Mike do? He doesn't get defensive. He doesn't shame her. He doesn't withdraw. He responds with steadiness, with maturity, almost with that thought like, that makes sense. That's how this experiment works. That is emotional safety. Okay, so we know that Mike really wants children, and Emma shares that she is not sure if she wants children, and Mike says this to her.
I want to get married. I don't want to have kids right away.
Yeah.
I want to enjoy marriage with my wife. I want to explore each other. I want to travel. I want to accomplish goals. And then once we're comfortable, let's start this new journey of our lives together. Let's bring a child into the world because it's a part of who we are. We're leaving a part of us on this earth and the person that we created together, our child.
Mike is saying something really important here. He wants to build a strong foundation with his wife before bringing children into the picture. And honestly, that's one of the healthiest mindsets you can have about starting a family. When a partnership feels steady, secure, and emotionally connected, parenting becomes something you do together, not something that pulls you apart. A strong foundation creates trust. It creates teamwork. It allows both partners to feel confident that the responsibility of raising children will be shared, not silently carried by one person. Children don't fix a relationship, they amplify it. So, if the foundation is solid and communication is strong and there is emotional safety, mutual respect, that stability becomes the environment a child grows up in. What I hear in Mike's response is long-term thinking. He's not just excited about the idea of a family, he's thinking about the health of a partnership that would support it. And that kind of perspective is what you want to see in another person. So as they move forward, Mike shares that he can see a future with Emma, but her hesitation about having children scares him. That kind of honesty is what you want in a person. He's not shutting down, he's expressing what concerns he has. And in response, Emma opens up. She shares about being adopted. She talks about her physical scars. She lets him see the parts of her story that have shaped her fears. And here it is. This is what I promised to show you. Watch how he responds. And this is how you want someone to respond when you share something vulnerable. And I'm going to slow this down and look at his response one piece at a time.
Oh my God.
Take your time.
When he says take your time, he's communicating something much deeper than just patience. He's saying, I'm here with you. I'm not rushing you. I can handle your emotions. I can sit with your pain. That's presence. That emotional steadiness, when someone responds that way to your vulnerability, tells you that your emotions are not too much for him, for Mike.
I was actually adopted.
Okay.
I'm not going to disclose where because I don't want to give away my appearance, but
you don't have to do that.
When Emma says that she's adopted but doesn't want to share where she's from because she doesn't want to reveal anything about her appearance, She's communicating a boundary. And when Mike doesn't press for more information, when he lets her share only what she's ready to share, that's respect. He's honoring her pace. He's honoring her by respecting that is her story to tell in her way. And that is an important part of emotional safety.
I do not know my family's medical history. I do not know who my birth family is. To bring a child into this world, I am afraid of not knowing what that means for my child in terms of health issues.
It's really important to notice how emotionally present Mike is with Emma. Even though they can't see each other, his quietness matters. He's not interrupting. He's not rushing her. He's not filling the space to relieve his own discomfort. He's quietly present, and that kind of quiet can communicate safety. It says, I'm here. I'm listening. I am not overwhelmed by what you're sharing. Sometimes emotional presence isn't about saying the perfect thing. It's about being steady enough to hold the space.
I was born with birthmarks all over my body that had a very high chance of melanoma.
Okay.
So I underwent 10 surgeries before the age of 7 to get them removed.
Wow.
When Emma shares that she had birthmarks all over her body and a high chance of melanoma, he says, okay. And when she shares that she had 10 surgeries, he says, wow. Those are small words, but they speak volumes. Okay communicates acceptance. It's not shock, it's not alarm, it's not pity, it's steady. It says, I am taking this in. And wow acknowledges the weight of what she's been through. He recognizes that this wasn't minor. He validates the magnitude of her experience. Sometimes emotional maturity shows up in simple responses. He's not minimizing her story. He's not reacting in a way that makes it about him. He's responding in a way that says, I see this, I hear this, and when someone shares something that vulnerable, that kind of grounded response reveals so much about the person.
And I think bringing in a child, like, I don't know what I'm passing down. And like, that's really scary.
Yeah. I will never judge you for any type of physical appearance based on like what you went through. I really do appreciate you sharing that with me and about the reasoning why, you're having that struggle with having children or not having children.
The first thing Mike does is reassure her that he would never judge her for what she's been through. That's important. When someone is sharing something deeply vulnerable, the fear underneath it is often, will this change how you see me? His response directly addresses that fear. Then he thanks her for sharing that with him. And that might seem small, but it's not. When you thank someone for their vulnerability, you are acknowledging that what they just shared required courage. And he goes a step further. He connects her story to her hesitation about having children. He communicates that he now understands her struggle more clearly. That shows emotional attunement. He's not just hearing her history, he is integrating it into the larger conversation. That's what healthy communication looks like. Reassurance, appreciation, and thoughtful understanding.
But just from you telling me that, I think you'd be a great mother if you were to choose to. To go through so much and have those uncertainties, you should be proud of who you are and where you came from.
When he says that the fact that she can share her story tells him she would be a great mom, that's layered. He's not dismissing her fear. He's reframing her pain. He's essentially saying, what you have survived, the uncertainty, the surgeries, the questions about where you came from, those experiences didn't break you. They shaped you. He is seeing resilience where she sees insecurity. And when he tells her that she should be proud of who she is and where she came from, he is doing something powerful. He is separating her worth from her wounds. He's not defining her by abandonment or scars. He's defining her by strength, endurance, and courage. That kind of response helps someone begin to see themselves through a steadier, healthier lens. It doesn't erase the fear, but it challenges the narrative that she is damaged or less than. He's not rescuing her, he's affirming her. And that distinction is so important.
I haven't told anybody this here, actually. So I was a premature baby. When I was born, I had trouble like breathing. I stopped breathing, and I flatlined.
Wow.
And they had to bring me back to life. My grandma calls me like a little miracle baby. I like to consider myself a fighter, and I like to think you are too now for sharing with me that, like, you know, we're fighters.
And this is the part that really moves me. He doesn't interrupt her story with his own in a way that takes the spotlight away from her. He doesn't shift the focus to himself to equalize the intensity. Instead, he shares just enough of his own experience to meet her where she is. His story doesn't compete with her story, it connects to her story. And then he links them together as fighters. That's powerful, because what he's doing is saying, you're not alone in this. I understand struggle and I see strength in you. He's not minimizing her pain. He's not rescuing her from it, like I said. He is standing beside her. And when someone can hold your story, share a piece of their own, and then create a sense of we instead of me versus you, that builds intimacy in a very grounded way.
Yeah.
To go through something so hard and to be able to be still an amazing person, I appreciate you sharing that with me.
You okay?
Yeah. I'm fine.
No, thank you. Thanks for sharing your story too. That's really beautiful, and like I completely agree. Like I believe everyone's here for a reason, and like I'm glad you made it.
Yeah, thank you.
He does something very simple but very powerful. He acknowledges that what she went through was something incredibly hard, and that she is still an amazing person. He is separating her identity from her trauma. He's saying, in essence, what happened to you is not who you are. And on top of that, he tells her that he appreciates that she shared it with him, and that reinforces that her vulnerability wasn't a burden. It was valued. And then he asks her if she's okay. That question communicates care. It shows he's not just absorbing information, he is tracking her emotional state in real time. And guess what? She is okay, because she felt heard, she felt seen, she felt validated, and she felt supported. Nothing in his response made her shrink or regret sharing. And I love her response when she says, I'm glad that you made it, referring to the fact that he had flatlined when he was born, but survived. That's reciprocity. She meets his vulnerability with warmth. She connects back. It becomes a mutual moment instead of a one-sided sharing of vulnerability that goes unseen and feels unsafe. That's what a healthy intimacy looks like. Two people holding each other's story with care. Okay, well, that is a wrap for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you found value in this video, and I look forward to seeing you next time.